Welcome to this audio summary of Leading with Empathy, Understanding the Needs of Today's Workforce by Gautham Pallapa. In today's ever-changing world, leadership is no longer just about targets and performance metrics. It's about understanding, compassion, and the human connection that powers successful organizations. In this episode, we'll dive deep into how empathetic leadership can transform stress into strength, build trust within teams, and create workplaces where people feel valued, seen, and inspired to perform at their best. You'll also learn how emotional intelligence underpins true empathy and why it's the defining skill of modern leaders. If you enjoy insights about personal growth, leadership, and emotional intelligence, don't forget to like this audio, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your support helps us reach more listeners looking for meaningful professional inspiration. Now, let's begin our journey through leading with empathy and explore how kindness and awareness can reshape the way we lead, live, and connect. Introduction. In a world defined by uncertainty and constant change, the call for empathetic leadership has never been more urgent. Leading with Empathy by Gautham Pallapa serves as both a philosophy and a practical guide for leaders who want to create more humane, resilient, and high-performing organizations. The book explores the importance of emotional intelligence, the transformative role of empathy in leadership, and how empathetic behaviors can reduce stress while fostering innovation, trust, and productivity across teams. Understanding empathy in modern leadership. Empathy is not merely about feeling sorry for others. It's about truly understanding, internalizing, and responding to others' emotions and circumstances. Unlike sympathy, which is passive and external, empathy is active and immersive. It is the process of putting yourself in someone else's emotional shoes, appreciating their experience, and adjusting your reactions accordingly. In business, empathy connects leaders and employees beyond transactions, forming the foundation for psychological safety, where individuals feel confident to express ideas, share feedback, and take risks without fear of judgment. Modern leadership requires leaders to value people as much as performance. When empathy is embedded in leadership, it enhances communication, strengthens relationships, and builds loyalty. Global studies show that empathetic leaders are rated as more effective, adaptable, and innovative. They can recognize the emotional needs of their people and align human understanding with organizational goals, a key capability in a workplace shaped by rapid change. The toll of adversity and the human cost of change. The modern workforce faces complex challenges, from pandemics to political instability, economic inequality, and climate anxiety. These external pressures intensify internal stress within organizations, leaving employees feeling uncertain and disconnected. Leaders cannot ignore this growing tension. Rather, they must learn to understand and manage it empathetically. Stress manifests in four primary ways. 1. Cognitive symptoms such as forgetfulness, poor focus, and indecision. 2. Emotional symptoms like irritability, anxiety, and attachment. 3. Physical symptoms including headaches, muscle pain, or insomnia. 4. Behavioral symptoms such as procrastination, overworking, or withdrawal. Reducing these stressors begins with identifying their origins. Some stressors come from external pressures like heavy workloads or major life transitions, while others stem from internal beliefs, perfectionism, pessimism, or unmet expectations. Empathetic leaders create a culture that manages these pressures by enhancing emotional control, fostering optimism, and promoting a sense of purpose. Supporting strong peer networks and maintaining open channels for feedback are essential. Balance and physiological well-being also play a role. Activities that release dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins, like meditation, journaling, exercise, and meaningful social interactions, can improve morale and resilience. When leaders model these habits, they signal that well-being is a strategic priority, not a secondary concern. The three dimensions of empathy. Empathy takes three distinct forms that serve different purposes in leadership. Cognitive empathy enables a leader to comprehend another's thoughts and perspectives intellectually. Emotional empathy allows a leader to connect on a human level, sharing another's feelings and strengthening interpersonal bonds. Compassionate empathy goes beyond understanding and feeling. It compels action to support and help. Developing these dimensions empowers leaders to create workplaces that are psychologically safe, respectful, and cooperative. Genuine empathy encourages people to perform not out of obligation, but out of shared commitment. To cultivate empathy daily, engage actively with people outside your usual circle. Seek out diverse perspectives and stories. Immerse yourself in experiences or cultures different from your own to broaden understanding. Volunteer for causes that expose you to varied human situations and challenges. Emotional intelligence as the foundation of empathy. Empathy is sustained by emotional intelligence, the capacity to perceive, interpret, and regulate emotions effectively. Leaders with high EQ excel at reading emotional cues, reacting constructively, and inspiring trust. Key practices to enhance emotional intelligence include: identify emotions clearly. Label what you feel to gain control over it. Practice self-awareness. Reflect regularly to recognize what triggers certain emotions. Share vulnerabilities. Admitting uncertainty fosters authenticity. Reframe negativity. Transform challenges into learning moments by shifting perspective. Replenish your energy. Time for self-care ensures emotional stamina and balanced thinking. When emotional intelligence becomes a leadership habit, collaboration improves, adaptability increases, and teams communicate with empathy and precision. Embedding empathy in the organizational culture. True empathy must scale from individual traits to organizational values. Leaders should demonstrate consistent care, empower their teams, and embrace transparency at every level. That means hosting open forums, inclusive conversations, and feedback mechanisms such as Ask Me Anything sessions or skip-level meetings. Empathy also requires courage. It pushes leaders to acknowledge mistakes, embrace diverse viewpoints, and view failures as growth opportunities. Organizations that normalize empathy also increase innovation because employees feel free to share unpolished ideas and question assumptions without fear. However, empathy must be balanced. Unchecked empathy can lead to emotional fatigue, impaired objectivity, or unconscious bias favoring certain individuals or groups. Empathetic leaders must maintain self-awareness and structure decisions around fairness, not just emotion. Extending empathy beyond the workplace. Empathy transcends internal culture. It also shapes how organizations engage with customers and partners. By understanding clients' evolving needs and keeping promises consistent with actions, leaders build respect and credibility. Handling customer conflicts with flexibility and genuine concern transforms service issues into loyalty opportunities. Adapting empathy for the remote era. The shift toward remote and hybrid work environments demands new forms of empathetic connection. Digital distance can easily disconnect leaders from the emotional pulse of their teams. To combat this, leaders should modernize technology to promote ease and collaboration, introduce routines that mark the boundary between work and personal life, and ensure meetings are purposeful and concise. Pairing remote employees on projects fosters community, while offering upskilling opportunities and wellness support sustains morale. Promoting flexible schedules, work-life boundaries, and self-paced productivity reinforces a sense of human understanding in virtual settings. Optimism, evolution, and a future built on empathy. Despite global adversity, an encouraging trend has emerged. Leaders and employees are communicating more honestly, aligning around well-being, and embracing empathy as a core strength rather than a soft skill. The pandemic redefined what effective leadership looks like. Not dominance, but humanity. Not control, but connection. Technological progress, when guided by empathy, can empower rather than isolate. The evolving workforce now demands leaders who lead with compassion, self-awareness, and adaptability, values that sustain not only business results but human dignity. Empathetic leadership transforms organizations from rigid systems into communities of trust and innovation. As Dr. Gautham Pallapa argues, empathy is not weakness. It is the defining strength of those prepared to guide their people through uncertainty with courage, clarity, and heart. Conclusion. Empathy isn't just a leadership tool. It's the foundation of trust, creativity, and resilience. As Gautham Pallapa reminds us, leadership grounded in empathy turns adversity into opportunity and people into partners. We build stronger teams, not when we talk the loudest, but when we listen the deepest. If this summary helped you reflect on your leadership style and emotional intelligence, please like the audio, share it with colleagues, and subscribe for more book summaries on mindset, business, and modern leadership. Together, let's build a world and workplaces that lead with empathy, courage, and heart. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next episode.